We're back, all you Hollyweirdos. Me and Bryce decided, what's a better way to start a new season from our hiatus of Hollyweird Paranormal Podcast? Well, let's start off with having a new Listener's Tales episode and recording it on the first day of our spooky month of October. It is October the 1st of 2022, and we got some crazy listener tales for you. You like that? That kind of rhymed. We have several stories from several of our listeners who have had some unusual experiences. Let's hear one story about a ghost that has a unique, and I'm not joking, foot fetish. Hey, it gets weirder, but in our hood, it gets Hollyweirder. And then we have another 2 short stories from another one of our listeners. One from her childhood of an apparition that took the form of her mother, and another one that takes place in a haunted city here in California, San Diego. Then we also have 2 audio stories, one that we're keeping as a big surprise. It has to do with a pretty popular haunted hotel in downtown LA, where a friend of mine had a very unusual experience on a film set. And then we have another one from one of our favorite listeners who had spent a night at a very unique hotel in Santa Rosa and had a very interesting time dealing with a ghost that was trying to get into her room. I tell you, some of these ghosts are pretty ballsy and they have some nerve, but we'll get into it in today's episode. So why don't you sit back, relax, grab some candy corn, and if you feel a little more comfortable, why don't you sprinkle a little circle of salt around you? And because we are talking about a ghost with a foot fetish, maybe cover your feet up with some socks, because this is episode number 94 of part 9 of our listeners' tales. Let's get Hollyweird. Guys, it's October the 1st.
Oh, we made it.
You made it.
I know. And do you want to? Here's my brave fact for the day. I have not yet watched Hocus Pocus 2. I know.
Gasp.
I've been really excited.
What
obviously.
is wrong? Is everything okay?
It's been out for like 19 hours at this point.
I know. I am surprised that you haven't woken up at 6 a.m. in the morning to. I put a spell on you.
I know. Well, I always do that. Anyway, I just always have bet in my heart and in my head. No, you know what it is? This is so silly. I am older now, and jet lag used to not really affect me, and it is like 1-2 punching me right now. And that's so silly, but like I was just in London for a week, and then I was in Ohio for 2 weeks. So I've been gone all of September.
Oh, we've been traveling, guys.
Girl, we've been busy.
Which is why people were wondering, so when are you guys coming back? We're like, it's a break. Mm-hmm. It's a break. We've been on a 2.5, 3 month break. And anytime we were ready to get back behind the mics, we're like, oh, wait, we actually have a trip.
I know.
Oh, I had COVID.
Like, look, we missed y'all too. It's not that we don't, you know what I mean? Like a break. It's hard on both of us.
It really is.
But yeah, it was definitely needed. I know I think I can speak for both of us when I say
it's good to take a break. I know. Like we always take our little breaks. Remember like when we worked at, the old Hollywood acting school, we needed to take that major break from May through half of July.
Yeah. Look, sometimes you just gotta take a little breaky breaks.
We do. So guys, we're back.
We're back and we're spooky, and I will watch Hocus Pocus 2 at some point. It's fine.
It's fine. What a better way to start our comeback but do a listener's tale.
Yes, listener's tales.
We have quite a few of listener's tales, some that I have just responded to, and we are excited to have Bryce read.
Yes.
2 of them from our friends Teresa and Lindsay. And then we have 2 recordings. I'm going to save the last one as a surprise.
Oh, God.
But it is in reference to something that we covered last year.
Oh, God.
And it just so happened that a month ago, I was sitting with a girlfriend of mine. We were having coffee. And we were talking about hotels in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, my God.
And she works in film.
Yes.
And she was filming at this specific hotel. and things happened.
Oh my God.
And I was like, can I record you? Can you start all over again? She's like, oh my God, yes.
Aww.
Yeah. So we have that recording. Yes. It is pretty astonishing and interesting to hear not only what she experienced, but what all departments experienced in that hotel.
We love corroboration.
We do. So sit back, relax, grab some candy corn.
Yes.
We are here for a comeback. And we're going to come back with some listeners' tales. So, Bryce,
yes.
Out of the two that were written, which one are you going to start us off with?
I will start with the one that I have open because I'm very lazy. Keeping it on brand, no matter how long the break is. All right, so I'm going to start. We have one from Teresa C. Hey, Teresa. Also, I love all of our listeners that reach out, and it's always so funny. You're not going to offend me. I am aware that I am a little chicken. It's fine. I love all of you too. I'm happy that my anxiety and terror can entertain you. I feel like almost every single time, like, sorry, but we want to hear him like freak out. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's fine. So, with that,
I think you might freak out with these two stories.
I already know I'm going to. I'm sure of it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let's start with Teresa's tale.
Hi guys, I love your podcast and decided to tell you my story because I know that you guys have experience and might be able to tell me what I'm dealing with. Not me, could never be me. Let's see. About me, I'm in my early 50s, divorced, mother of two, gaga of four, love that. I live alone and have dealt with severe depression as well as a lot of physical pain over the past year. I do not love that. That sucks. I'm sorry. Man, these last 3 years for everyone. What a bitch.
I know. What a pain.
Also, I've had to deal with having my heart broken by an evil man who led me on for a long time.
Girl, just grab like a bottle of wine and some chocolate. We could talk.
I'm really on like I'm not on a great man kick right now. So Teresa C, I feel you, girl. So I've always been interested in and open to the paranormal. I've never been scared of any experience. I'm more fascinated. I mean, that must be really nice. Teresa. So 3 to 4 months ago, I started dreaming, that my ex would sneak in my house when I was sleeping.
Oh, hell
Teresa,
no.
don't watch Dahmer.
No.
I'd feel the mattress. Oh my God. I'd feel the mattress go down a bit as if someone sat down, and then I'd feel him lay down behind me, put his arms over me, and slit my throat. Oh my God.
No.
Many nights of waking up and screaming, I assure you. Roughly 3 months ago, I was in bed and... Oh, God. No. Roughly 3 months ago, I was in bed and felt the mattress move and thought, here we go again, but realized I was fully awake. I felt someone get in bed, do the wiggle thing to get adjusted, and then nothing, but I thought I could hear breathing. Oh, my God. I turned to check just in case I had a real visitor, but there was nothing. Can I just say that I do not... like sleeping with other people when it's like sleeping time. Nap time, totally fine.
Fine, yeah.
We can cuddle. I don't care if I don't nap.
In general. It's a short-term sleep.
It's a light sleep.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's an amoosh-boosh sleep.
I totally is. But when I'm like sleeping, it is like a job. I take it seriously. I clock in. I am focused. I am the star employee of the month every month. Like, I refuse to be swayed from my goals. If someone is, like, getting in the bed and breathing and, like, trying to touch me, I don't like that.
That's not going to work.
Especially then if I turn and they're not there. Now I'm going to sage the shit out of that. I need sleep. I'm going to light it with melatonin. Hell no. Anyway, Teresa.
I can see you grinding the melatonin and burning it.
Like, is this correct? Like, should I call someone and see if this is, like, ethically sourced? Don't care. No.
It's my sleep.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with my sleep.
It's fine. I won't use white sage. I will use melatonin. I'm sure it balances out. All of our listeners are, like, screaming right now. They're like, he's so stupid. Okay.
We met?
Truly. Like, yeah, welcome back. Happy October. Okay. I'm honestly, Teresa, this is horrifying. Okay. Let me get my spot back because I am terrified. Nothing. I thought I could hear breathing. I turned to check just in case I had a real visitor, but there was nothing. After a week or so of this happening nightly, oh my God, I finally asked who it was. Teresa. I finally asked who it was.
No.
I tried a recorder and some iPhone apps, yes, love it, to try and get answers, but there was never a response. I thought for sure that it was my ex, but after checking, I see that he's still off somewhere being an oxygen thief. Obsessed. So I knew it wasn't him. Get him, girl. Yes. I felt that whomever it was very familiar. After I started talking to it, things changed. I would be laying in bed and I'd feel the mattress beside me go down a bit, as if someone was leaning on it and bending over me. Again, not scared until one night, just after I turned off the light and felt, oh my God, and felt hands come from the foot of my bed and grab both feet. Mm-mm. Oh my God, if there was ever a nometokis, I would be nometokising all
on
over
the feet. Unless you're getting a pedicure.
I even hate that. I do not like my feet being touched. Yeah.
Really?
I have to like when I do get a pedicure and I need one, my feet are like wrecked right now because we were walking so much and I didn't have like great shoes. So like the sides of my feet were like blistering. I need to go, but I always have to like grip my teeth through it. I know.
Yeah, you just don't like that.
I'm such a baby. Honestly, this is the new name of this podcast is Bryce is a baby. Not the feet. Oh God. I believe my first response was, what the fuck, obviously.
Obviously, that's the first one.
You have to. And I quickly turned on my light. There was nothing there, but I knew I had felt it. Oh, God. I left the light on for quite a while. Yeah, me too. I'd never turn it off. I have a recliner in my living room, and I frequently sit there and listen to music or podcasts. Hey, girl. I thought I felt something run across my foot one night. First thought was a mouse, but I know that we don't have them here. I sat quietly and felt something touching my foot, pulling my toes and rubbing a bit.
A ghost with a foot fetish.
I hate it. I sat back and waited, and suddenly my foot was yanked up in the air. I wasn't afraid, but I have recently had major damage to both knees. Oh, my girl, same. This is my first thought, too. Recently had major damage to both knees, so there was a little screaming. I feel that on such a core.
Who wouldn't scream?
When you have an injury that you have to constantly be aware of.
Right.
Like every step that I take, I'm thinking about it because like the number of times that I've been in like Old Navy-esque flip-flops, like those little foamy ones.
Oh no, the ones that like last
surface,
a week.
And then my like legs slip and now my knee is dislocated.
Yeah.
That is a very common thing. I have to be very careful all the time. So like any sudden jerky movements are a hard no. I would be pissed at this spirit. I'd be so angry. Get a podiatrist who night moonlights as a fucking ghost hunter. Absolutely not.
You never know. It's like, hi, I study feet, but also at night I go into dark places.
They're like moving the planchette with their toes. Is there anybody here? Okay. So all that to say, Teresa, I feel I'd be pissed. I do not like my knees being yanked. I pulled up the footrest and waited quietly. Soon I felt hands, actual hands, fingers and everything. Oh, God. Ooh. Rubbing my
feet, right? Is he giving her a foot massage now? Maybe.
Oh, my God.
Okay, hear me out. Maybe it's a ghost of a podiatrist.
Maybe. Like these onions have got to go.
I know.
Soon I felt hands, actual hands, fingers, and everything rubbing my foot, and I watched the toes move seemingly on their own. No.
But did it feel good?
Fair enough.
Like, I would have been scared, but I'd be like, ooh, okay, that felt really nice. Like that, that pain went away. For me, like, does it feel good? Is this entity actually trying to help me? Maybe its intention is to provide better foot health.
But I'm going to treat this like I would any, like, relationship. Like, you obviously don't know me then because I do not want my feet touched. So, like, if you're going to be in my house living rent-free, I might add, then, like, you could at least get to know the person. Like, I don't want you touching my feet. Like, you can't pay a bill? Like,
I feel like you're a ghost living its real life right now because a lot of ghosts don't want... They're like, no matokas, don't contact me.
I will never, like, open and shut windows. I'll never turn lights on.
I want to be left alone.
You think I'm going to mess with your electricity bill? No, ma'am.
No. I just want to sleep.
Yeah, that's it. I really am a ghost. It's fine. Oh, God, Teresa. I don't know how you did it. She is so calm, and I know. I'm freaking out.
I would be all over the place if I was, like, writing this... But she's like, yeah, it was actually really, like, interesting how it just, like, raised my legs, started, like, massaging my feet, separating my toes.
And it's weird because she... I'll keep reading. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Then the afterthoughts. Sorry, this is so long. No, I made it like 6 times longer. I'm so sorry, Teresa.
I'm actually really impressed.
I know. I'm so sorry. Sorry, this is so long, but there is a lot more to tell. I figure this might seem absolutely crazy. Girl, no. So I don't want to bury you with everything until I know if you want to hear it. We always do, and it's not crazy. You're not crazy. Mm-hmm. I do want to, I mean, look, always, like we always say, do try and like corroborate, but like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you are taking the time to be calm and it's happening every night for a week, that is a kind of corroboration too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anyway. I hear you on that one.
Mm-hmm. I do want to know that this experience has turned everything I thought I knew about the paranormal completely upside down. There are no cold spots. The hands are warm. I can feel warm breath on my face when it gets close. I have an EMF meter and it doesn't detect anything. I tried a thermal can thinking because he's warm, I might see him. It's interesting also that Teresa senses like a male presence. That's a very, because you always know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It really is. I responded to her. I was like, could it be possibly something that, is it somebody who she may have known and has passed? And quite possibly, like, when did this all just start happening? And I noticed that it happened when she was going through this pretty dark period in her time.
Yeah. Which
can make her or her energy very vulnerable to Lord knows what. I told her, like, it could possibly be somebody who is trying to make communication with her in some weird, funny way.
Yeah, because she says, sorry, one last thing, I'm able to somewhat communicate with this spirit because I figured since it seems he has a foot fetish, I would use that to my advantage. Honestly, your level of sound thinking is astonishing to me. I would have burnt my feet off already. I have him pull on my left foot for yes and my right foot for no. Genius. So far, I know that he's someone from my past, like you were just saying, and so far I know he means me no harm. He has also told me that there are other spirits here. I could go on, but I will stop there. Teresa. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, the level of like forethought to be like, okay, if he's not going to communicate in the ways that I am familiar with, then I will use the ways that are at my disposal, like with him touching me and my feet.
Well, now she's like using it to communicate with it. Like, that's smart. Like, hey, pull my right for yes and pull my other for no.
But good for her to like.
You want to hear her response?
Yes. Oh my God. Oh God, Teresa, what are you doing to
So
me?
she said, it started out with something pulling my toes, and then now it has progressed to feeling a slimy tongue on them, to just sitting and holding a toe in its mouth. It progressed to it holding half of my entire foot. And I'm sorry, no, this is a ghost that had a foot fetish in the living. If there are entities, who used to be assholes in the living or assholes in the afterlife, then these things or whatever this thing is had, a foot fetish when it was living.
Oh my God.
And probably still has a foot fetish in the afterlife.
Oh my God.
She says it feels so mushy and then gently biting down. I can feel a lot of sharp pointed teeth, but it doesn't ever bite hard. So it's nothing negative. It's nothing evil.
When we say that it's nothing negative, when we say that it's nothing, look,
like for you, it's negative because I don't want to have my feet touched.
I am not here to yuck anyone's yum, but that does not seem like super consensual, ghost. Did you ask if she wanted half of her foot in your weird slimy mouth?
Buy me a pizza at least and do my laundry.
Like, come on.
Buy me shoes.
Oh my God.
Imagine like giving a ghost your Amazon wish list.
Okay, a ghost can touch my feet for my Amazon wish list. That's...
I do need a
give...
new plushie pet, so here you go.
Oh my God.
I need these fake cacti, and I need like this new like soap dispenser.
Yeah.
It's on my wish list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you can put my foot in your mouth. Oh God.
That is very interesting, but it is weird. It's very weird. And remember, I told you about our friends from our old job. They were former students who lived in North Hollywood.
Oh, yes.
And they had that apartment where they would feel like something grabbing their feet at night. Whoa. And when one of the girl's friends from out of town, who was, by the way, very, very sensitive, woke up to seeing an old elderly Asian man at the foot of her bed messing with her feet. And she even told her, she's like, yeah, you have an old man that lives here who has a foot fetish and he likes to mess around with your feet. So I'm sure you're probably feeling that, you know, every single night. And she was like, yeah, that's what we feel. Like, we just feel like the covers being pulled from under their feet. And they would feel like this weird sensation, like a weird prickly feeling, very cold.
Just do not wake me up. Like,
I know.
I just don't want to be woken up
and have my feet touched. That's right.
There is this is so juvenile, as we've learned. That look, know your brand, right?
Right.
I wonder if there's an element where it's like, because like at least the way I sleep, I'm I'm all legs and arms. I'm just like a fucking orangutan. I drape and like spread out a lot. So like my arm, my feet, those are kinds of the things that are, I'm very tall, typically hanging over a bed. Excuse me. Anyway.
Yeah, you're a beanstalk.
Yeah, right. A jackless beanstalk. But it is, I just wonder, yes, there does seem to be some kind of like fetish, obviously in this story with Teresa as well. Like there's obviously something very specific happening there.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if it's like, I just feel like communicating from the other side must be very difficult. And so sometimes when it's like, well, they're not responding or it's not showing up the way I thought it might, or like these quote unquote, like when we did the ghost hunt with Bridget on our episode a couple years ago, the theater itself is very haunted, but because we did talk about this on that episode, the theater is such a specific energy, and the energy of a show happening in a theater versus like a dark, quiet theater space are two very different energies.
Exactly.
And all of the stories from that space happened during shows. There was always something going on in the artistic production sense. And so because, I don't think there are failures, right? Like, I don't believe in regret. I don't think that anything happens that's not supposed to. So the thing, like when we were hunting with Bridget, it was a very tame experience. There wasn't a lot of activity. There wasn't a lot of communication in the ways that we were maybe expecting. And, she had so many amazing tools, and you brought so many of your amazing tools. And it wasn't very like flashy or Hollywoody, right? Like we didn't seance and then like a person appeared. But I think part of that is like, it's very difficult. So if a ghost is able to, or a spirit or whatever, is able to communicate and they find a way that works, I can imagine it would be very difficult to transition out of that.
Right.
I don't want my foot in a mouth.
No, that would feel that would feel weird. I think it's testing boundaries at this point. Yes, if you notice, like in that second,
it's escalating. Email,
like, oh, well, she's letting me touch her feet and do all this stuff. I'm gonna put it in my mouth.
Right, and I feel like I still can't get over like what a forethought to be like, okay, I will use the way that I am being communicated with.
Yeah.
Like left for yes, right for no. That to me is like so incredible. Obviously, yes, it is testing some boundaries.
Yeah, it's like almost a form of spectrophilia, not on her behalf, but like this thing that's coming in that could be somebody that she probably knew when, they were living. My recommendation for her is just to continue to record the time and the date and what's happening and how it's escalating and make that timeline. Second, get a reputable psychic.
And maybe a pair of socks. I'm just going to throw that out there. Maybe just like some big old woolly socks. Chew on this, bitch.
I know.
Like, you want to chew on my feet? Fine.
Fine, here it is. I'm very curious to know, like has it escalated after she gets her toes painted, getting a pedicure?
Right. Is it responding to like external stimulus?
Yes. And I'm wondering too, Teresa, if you're also very sensitive, and this is how they're communicating with you because, you're able to sense it and you're probably a magnet to it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
now this is maybe kind of a silly question. What kind of a clair would this be considered?
This would be like, what is the clair feeling?
Okay.
Where you feel.
It's very interesting.
Clairsentience.
Okay. That's
what I figured. It's clear. It's like the feeling. You're not only could possibly feel the emotions, but you could possibly feel like the physical aspect of it as well. Yeah.
Crazy.
Because I have like the clairgustance and I have the clear salient too, where I could smell it and even hear it. And sometimes even taste it,
Wow,
it's really
so
interesting how you can like feel and sense all these, different things out of nowhere.
Totally.
So yeah, Teresa, keep us posted with what happened.
I don't know. I still think get some socks. Maybe, I don't know.
I know. This is so interesting, but I mean, it does tend to get weird when it comes to the paranormal.
It's October. We're in it. We're in it.
All right. So we have another one from a listener. Her name is Lindsay. And per their request, they wanted Bryce to read their story.
And I will. I will do that. You know what? This is the one that made me think about what I was saying in the first portion, because they were like, I'm sorry, I like when you're nervous, it's fine, you don't have to apologize. I'll never disappoint. That's the thing. All right. This is from Lindsay. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Bryce. I'm a longtime listener since about 2019. Thank you so much. It's so sweet.
I know. Welcome to the Hollyweird Club.
Look, if you survived the pandemic
with us, then you could survive anything.
She's like, yeah, I've never felt more strong than that. Yeah. Good for them. My name is Lindsay. My pronouns are they, she, and I lived in LA my whole life. Yes, we love an LA native.
Yes.
They're so rare.
They are.
I've wanted to
They're a mystical creature.
It's crazy. I know.
They're so
crazy.
chill and laid back.
I love them.
I love meeting people who are originally from Los Angeles because they're a complete opposite of what people actually think
100%.
an Angelino is.
100%.
I'm sorry, but we do not spend our afternoons in Erewhon spending $25 on a smoothie, which I have done, by the way.
Look, we've all done it.
Yeah, once.
Everyone has to climb Mount Everest once.
I know.
Lindsay gets it. She's like, they did not speak for me. No. Sorry. I've wanted to write y'all a listener's tale for so long now because, boy, howdy, I've got a lot of them, which I plan to write more for y'all in the future. I'm kind of a sensitive, so I've attracted a lot of things in my almost 30 years of existence, both good and the bad. Oh, no. Ooh. Today, I thought I'd start with 2 short stories for y'all, my very first and my most recent experiences. I love that they say y'all, too.
I love that. I used to be so embarrassed saying y'all
Same.
and ma'am here, and I would
Embrace
get laughed at. I do. I don't care.
I love that. Story number 1. I was maybe around 4 at the time. This was one of my earliest memories. My childhood home was very haunted. A craftsman-style home built in 1913. I mean, isn't that how this always starts?
What craftsman home is not?
Truly.
And comes with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a ghost in a closet.
Yeah,
there you go, craftsman.
$500,000. I was sitting in what my parents referred to as the TV room simply because it had a large TV we would watch the blockbuster rental movies on.
Oh, yes. Hell yes.
Love it.
Ooh, be kind, rewind. Be kind, rewind.
That was actually the ghost. It's just the ghost of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I was in there playing with my Barbie dolls while something random played on the TV. Just outside the TV room was the living and dining room. It was like an open concept area. Yes, I can totally picture it.
Like that.
I feel like this is the standard LA home that they're describing right now.
Open concept craftsman has a ghost. Perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll move in tomorrow.
Every real estate agent is like, yes, we love it.
Yes.
At some point, I looked up and saw my mom standing in between those 2 rooms, and she was facing away from me. Oh, no. Like any child, I got excited and called out for my mom. But what turned to a smile at me was not my mother. Oh, ooh. God.
I know this. Oh. When I read it, I was like, I had to read it twice. I'm like, wait, what? Oh. Yeah.
Like any child, I got excited and called out for my mom, but what turned to smile at me was not my mother. Where her face should have been was this face I have only been able to describe as something akin to Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, God, I know. I love that movie, but I hate this story. Its demented smile curled up on the sides of its face right up to its nightmarish eyes. But what was more horrifying than this smile was the bright glow coming out from its eyes and mouth, almost as if there was like a wildfire burning deep within it trying to escape. Yikes. Hate it.
No.
I promptly let out a blood-curdling scream, which I am now about to mimic because I'm terrified, that caused my folks to drop whatever they were doing to come run to my aid. I didn't see the monster leave. In my panic, I had shut my eyes and began sobbing uncontrollably. Up until then, monsters only existed in movies, and yet here had been one not even 20 feet from me. this, weirdly and thankfully, was the only time I've ever had seen it. Yeah, thankfully. Jesus, that's so scary.
Wow.
My folks to this day tell me I had a bad dream, but what 4-year-old dreams of something like that? Sure, Nightmare Before Christmas existed. By that time, this happened circa 1996, but I did not see that movie until I was 11 at a friend's slumber party, so a nightmare Oogie Boogie can't be at fault here. I mean, right, look, this is the problem with memories. Like, you maybe saw it on TV. Like, maybe you saw a commercial. Maybe someone had a doll.
My question is, like, why did they think that she was dreaming this? I thought she was awake watching TV.
But the thing that's, like, okay, like, maybe it's Oogie Boogie, fine, whatever.
Right.
But it looked like your mom, and it wasn't.
It
that
wasn't,
is the part
yeah.
that you cannot, like...
Right.
Like, why?
People are like doppelganger in my religion, like in my beliefs from, Lebanon, jinn.
Oh, yeah.
And I was told, like, a doppelganger and a jinn, what they have in common is, like, yes, they'll take the shape or the appearance of someone you know, but there's something off about them. It's either like eye color, hair color, or facial expressions that are very nefarious. And in this case, that's what it looked like.
Oh my God.
Could have been some sort of a weird elemental, but it only happened to Lindsay once. Like, they didn't see this thing again.
Right. I wonder if like their response was so aggressive that like their psyche
shut off. That's what I was going to lead into as well. Like possibly, as children, we grow up, we pretty much have an extremely squeaky clean conscience that is not overwhelmed by taxes and payments and a mortgage. And, the heart grows very bitter as we get older. But,
truly.
As children, we're like sponges when we grow up. I mean, we're just absorbing everything. So I think that maybe this was, I don't want to say traumatic, but maybe possibly it was traumatic.
Right. I mean, we're not psychologists.
No, but
it would make the pieces fit.
Yeah. And after that, like, that's a pretty nasty thing to see. It's like what you thought was your mom.
So young too.
I know. That would freak me out.
Yeah, me too. I'd be freaked out now. I am freaked out now.
So yeah, maybe I mean it's something there shut her off.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I have no clue what it was. Sorry. Let me go back. So a nightmare Oogie Boogie can't be at fault here. Look. Also, final thought: a nightmare Oogie Boogie can always be at fault, but let us not.
Let us not. Yes.
Because he is straight up scary.
He really is.
So scary. When his mouth opens and there's maggots.
I know.
Nightmare. Plus, I was still clutching onto my Barbie dolls I had been playing with only moments before, so how could I have been sleeping?
Right.
I have no clue what it was, though I assume a demon of some kind. I mean, when in doubt. I have always just called it a monster. I also have no clue what it wanted. I've never been able to figure that part out. Not that I want it to return to answer my questions. I'm happy to continue living my life never knowing. I'm happy for you to do that as well.
Right.
I'm intervening. I know the people who live there now, they're close family friends, and while they have told me they've had experiences with the paranormal there as well, to my knowledge, they've never seen the monster, and I pray they never do. I pray that too. Yeah.
That's interesting. I would love to know the background of the property and the house itself.
Yeah.
Because, there might be something a little more there.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, and it does remind me, if you listen to our, episode where we talk about our first paranormal experiences,
right.
The thing that really did resonate with me was, the eyes glowing with, a fire inside. That is essentially the story.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I have had a similar experience. Nothing that I could determine the face. Mine looked more like a silhouette with dark red fiery eyes.
And the way it would move in such a rapid, movement that is beyond human ability.
Deeply that.
And I've heard a lot of cases like that, especially with shadow figures.
Ugh.
Remember at our old job,
yes.
we would have that too.
And it was moving so crazily, quickly and
oof.
ominously.
Ooh, I'm getting chills.
Lindsay, what have you done to us?
It's just a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, my boyfriend and I celebrated our 10-year anniversary. Woohoo! Congratulations, it's so cute.
I know.
to celebrate, we took a trip down to San Diego for a few days. That's so cute.
That's a good getaway.
That is a cute one.
My husband and I did that for a mini moon.
San Diego is so cute.
It is really, it's really a vibe.
They don't really need my approval, but they have it. We stayed in Old Town because we wanted to be by the Whaley House, which, funny enough, ended up being within walking distance from our hotel. Love it. My boyfriend and I have both shared interest in the paranormal. Now, while I did have some small experiences in the Whaley House, am I saying that right? Whaley?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, while I did have some small experiences in the Whaley House, today I wanted to tell you what we saw on the last night of our trip, which also happened to be on our anniversary. Oh, goodness. We took the ghost... Okay, well, you took the ghost bus tour with Haunted San Diego.
It's a good tour.
Yeah, I love that. Let me tell you what happened. We start out on this tour. Okay. Which started at 9 p.m. at the Whaley House. On this bus tour, they take you to 5 haunted locations around San Diego and tell you the history of the hauntings of each location. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
The fourth stop on the tour was in the Gaslamp District at the Gaslamp Museum at the Davis Horton House. At this stop of our tour, we were granted access into the house well after the museum was already closed and locked up for the day. I would just stay on the bus. Like me with my little gelato and my like sunglasses.
No me toques. I'm going to stay in here. Like, we're going to stay here. There's AC in here.
I hit my 10,000 steps. I'm so good. Thank you. No.
Or your new excuse could be, I'm wearing Old Navy flip-flops right there.
I can't slip. I'll die. They are much braver than me, so that's fine. Good for them. The guide asked, at this stop we were granted access into the house well after the museum was already closed and locked up for the day. The guide asked us to wait outside while he went in to turn off the alarm so that we could enter, and it took a quick second. A couple minutes go by, and finally he comes back apologizing for the wait. He said, weirdly, the alarm went off, something that had only apparently happened to this guide twice before in all of his years doing this. I don't love this. He told us to wait in the parlor while he waited for the security company to call. None of the lights inside were on. The only light peeking through was from the street lamps outside through the sheer curtains that hung in every window. You could make out figure outlines, but that was mostly it. As we waited for the phone call, the guide told us how this home... I'm so sorry. As we waited for the phone call, the guide told us how this home at the turn of the century was a hospice for those dying from an outbreak.
Oh, well, there you go.
Spanish influenza, we talked about that. Yes, our medical degrees at work here. To me, this explained why the air felt so thick and heavy and why I had a sudden strong pain in my chest. Oh no. Turns out the parlor room where we were standing in was the very room that had been made into the makeshift hospice and saw countless amounts of people die during the outbreak. Oh no.
Yeah.
As we stood in the parlor, the doorway I stood closest to, which was not the same doorway that we had entered, faced into an almost pitch black hallway and a dark room across the way. I could feel something staring at me from in that room, so I looked away. Love that. That is the right choice. I'm already terrified of the dark, actually, thanks to ghosts, so I looked away again, trying to ignore the feeling, and this is when nausea began sinking in and a small headache began to sting at my temples. Ugh. Then, finally, the phone rang. The guide paused his story and quickly went to answer the phone, which was located in the hallway. Of course it was. No. Entering the hallway through that first door we entered the parlor from, he turned on the hallway light, and I said a silent thank you to not be stuck in the dark anymore. But when he turned on... Oh, God.
Yeah.
But when he turned on the hallway light from the corner of my eye, I saw something run out of the room and down the hall towards the front door. It ran so quickly that it was a blur. Now, see, the thing is that while I'm kind of sensitive, it is rare that I physically see them like I saw this blur of a person. Usually it will be more of a mental image and this instinctive feeling of the spirits that I interact with. So this was getting very spoopy for me. Me too. The air is heavy, I'm nauseous, and have a pain in my chest and a headache, plus I was stuck in almost total darkness for a good few minutes, and now I have physically seen something. And so they lit the house on fire. No? That's not where the story goes. Oh, okay. Great. They're much braver than I am.
I know, they sprinkled melatonin and lit it.
Get it out of there. Is it not flammable? You can make anything flammable. It's fine. While normally I would have immediately turned to my boyfriend to tell him what I saw, there was a woman on the tour who was all by herself. When we were all in the dark, the group stood in a semicircle to face the guide. She had been standing in front of the doorway looking out to that dark room with her back turned to it. Not even a minute into being in that parlor room, she took 2 steps to the side out of the door frame as if she felt something had been watching her too. Having noticed this, I decided not to tell my boyfriend, just wait until we were alone. Corroboration, we love to see it. Mm-hmm. Once the guide was finished on the phone, he quickly finished his story, turned on more lights, and told us we were free to check out the rest of the house on our own. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Okay, now that this horrible thing has happened,
done.
Spread on out.
Yeah, ready to go. Bye.
Lindsay.
Runs straight to the
You
bus.
are so much braver than me. They're like staying like firm in their feelings, and I want to kill myself, and I'm just reading it. It's fine. Okay. Once the guide was finished on the phone, he quickly finished his story. Sorry. My boyfriend wants to go upstairs, but I only got halfway up the stairs before I felt too sick to go up any further. I told him I needed to step outside. He understood why. Mm-hmm. And I told him to come meet me when he was done. The moment I was outside, that heavy weight lifted right off, and I felt like I could breathe again. Ugh. When my boyfriend finally met back up with me outside, he hugged me tightly and whispered in my ear, I didn't want to stay inside, but I think we saw a ghost when we were in the parlor. No. Turns out in that room, I felt something was watching me. My boyfriend saw the silhouette of Head and Shoulders, which were standing in front of a window. Ooh. That is how he saw the silhouette in the darkness.
And he saw it.
Oh my God.
He saw it, yeah. That's already validation right there. Validation. I love. I'm like, you saw it
and
too.
then, like, they weren't telling their boyfriend. He wasn't telling the woman wasn't telling them. Like,
yeah,
they're all,
no one had a match.
Right. I mean, never travel without one. He said he didn't think much of it at the time because museums often have mannequins, so he figured that was what it was, which is a valid point, but
true.
So
yeah.
creepy. Well, when the guide had turned on the lights, to my boyfriend's horror, there was no mannequin or anything remotely resembling Head and Shoulders standing there. He had also decided to not say anything until we were by ourselves because he also saw the lone woman shuffle away from the door and did not want to scare her either. I then told him what I saw and felt. Soon after, our group got back onto the bus, driving off our last stop, which was right into the Bay of San Diego, because I absolutely would not. By the end of the block, my nausea, headache, and chest pain were gone.
Yeah,
wow.
And that is clairsentience. You know, when you're feeling totally. That's clairsentience as well.
We talked about that at the Omen House. Like, you were more affected physically.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, even whatever that one hallway was, you were like, wow, I'm, like, really dizzy. And I was like, I think I'm just, like, tall. I feel weird in this room because I'm, like...
Yeah, you just feel thrown off. Like, it just throws you off. And, you know, to be fair, it could be environmental. Like, Charlie even brought up to, like, when he visited the house. And I love it when Charlie comes with me to these places because he is extremely skeptic and logical. He's like, I feel like there's something there, but I don't think it is what we think it is. I really do think, he was like, what is that thing? The EFM, the EMF. He's like, you know,
I love it.
He's like, that's what I mean. I feel like it's like the universe, you know, because we still don't know a lot about it.
Totally.
It could be affecting us. Like, maybe what we think is paranormal is actually really normal.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that is actually very true. And a very popular and respectful investigator by the name of Johnny L. Tenney has made quotes like that. I'm like, that's really cool that you mentioned that. He's like, I think like what we feel like is paranormal could actually be environmental, but it's actually normal. But, you know, he's like, once again, it's like things that we still don't understand.
Right.
But
yeah, I love that. I mean, we've talked about this a lot too, where it's just like, we always are looking for what is the most logical explanation and like what is the most provable explanation.
Exactly.
Like, constantly looking for like what can be corroborated, what can we measure, what can we like replicate, what can we explain away, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Like,
I love that.
I feel like the more I have pursued myself, like I pursued throughout this journey of my paranormal journey, my vision and my thought and my mindset for it has really evolved and changed. Yeah. Like, my questions are like, is there a persistence of consciousness that persists after we leave our physical form? Yeah. And second, are the things that we are experiencing are things that we really don't know about, but we water them down by calling it a poltergeist, a demon, which I can't stand, a ghost. and so on and so forth.
Right, and it's the language that we're taught by our upbringings, by our backgrounds, by
TV
our
shows.
parents, by Hollywood.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Nope?
I've not. I want to.
Highly recommend it.
I love Jordan Peele so much.
I think you'll like it. I think you can tolerate it.
I watched Us, which that's pretty...
All right, that's baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yes, and you watch Beastly, which...
I did. I just watched Beast, but it was mostly for Idris Elba, and he didn't even take his shirt off the whole movie. Like, why am I here being traumatized by a CGI lion? Which, honestly, the CGI in that movie was unreal how good it was.
Wow.
It was incredible. It was terrifying. There were so many jump scares. I was scared the whole time. I stared at my popcorn almost the entire movie because I love popcorn. Idris Elba was great. It's a very predictable, like, silly, summery kind of movie, but he didn't even take his shirt off one time.
Really?
I know. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm not watching it. I'm not even wasting my time.
I know. I thought this was 2023.
Maybe I'll watch it for
2022.
The
what
lion.
year is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But if you watch the movie Nope, there's so many wonderful Easter eggs and messages from the very beginning of this film. But the thing that really caught my attention, especially when it came to the alien in this film, and just the usage of... You'll see it in the film. I'm trying not to give too much away.
So hard. Hollywood
really does play a part along with social media.
True.
You'll see it in the film, but my perception of it is that the message, one of the main messages that I gathered from this film is that history, our perception of history is presented by what we are fed by the media and by Hollywood.
So true. Everything is a narrative.
Everything is a narrative.
Yeah.
And that is something that Jordan Peele in this film really did a good job in presenting. So what is it that we really are experiencing is the biggest question that I'm now trying to figure out and wanting to know is is there such thing as ghosts, but is there such thing as our consciousness persisting and persevering after we leave?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's so crazy too.
Yeah.
Because in many ways that's like the unknowable quest.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to discount anybody else's experience, but I feel like I'm more interested in the bird than the feathers of the bird. I want to know all about the bird because when we dissect its feathers, we're just looking at each part saying well, this is what it is and this is what I think it is. And I feel like we water down its beauty by doing that.
I think that's so true.
Yeah. But what is the phenomenon that we're really going through and experiencing? Like the William Heath Davis house, for example, has so much history. It was actually used as an officer's barracks during the Civil War.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking at the website of SanDiegoGhost.com. The spirits and apparitions that many people have accounted for here is a sighting of a man dressed in World War II garb. That has been overly reported. Another one is a woman who is dressed in a Victorian era dress that people have seen wander around, get this, the second floor. So now Lindsay and her boyfriend have witnessed or may have witnessed this said woman.
Wow.
Yes. And I remember I did something on TikTok in regards to the hauntings in San Diego. And there was a girl on there who commented, she's like, have you looked into the William Heath Davis house? I used to be one of their tour guides.
Oh my God.
And I had so many experiences. That place is no joke.
Wow.
It's like neck and neck with the Whaley house.
Oh my God.
So Lindsay,
I will be at the San Diego Zoo. Thank you. Me and the red pandas will be having a lovely time.
I think the San Diego Zoo might be haunted. Just kidding.
Oh my God. If it's haunted with the ghosts of red pandas, like in Turning Red, then I'm fine. Those are adorable and I love them.
Is haunted, really, really haunted as a mother, is the Chicago Zoo. Because it was built over a graveyard.
Of course it is. Like, that is the most Chicagoan thing I've ever heard.
There's a graveyard right here. Yeah. You can build a zoo over it.
You know what this needs?
What?
A zoo.
A zoo.
God damn it.
Here in LA,
Chicago,
it's like, well, you know what this
together.
needs? Apartments, a Smoothie King,
Girl,
and maybe,
truly though.
hear me out, a school. Perfect.
Truly. Oof,
yeah.
Bless.
Would they notice if we just remove the headstones and leave the bodies? No.
No, it's fine.
No, it's
They'll
fine.
be fine.
It's
extra protein for the foundation. It's fine. Is that what you call concrete? Protein for the foundation?
All right, guys. So thank you so much for sending these stories in, but we haven't stopped yet.
No, can't stop, won't stop.
We have 2 audios. One from another awesome listener of ours, Layla, and we're going to play it right now, which is really, really interesting. And then we'll go into our finale.
Hi, Spooky fam. It's your old friend, Layla. I sent a listener story a while back about my dad coming to me in a dream to have a nice little dance. And because our wedding is coming up here on October 14th in Savannah, Georgia, I thought I would share with you the spookiness that happened during our engagement weekend at a beautiful old mansion in Healdsburg, California called Madrona Manor. A little history about Madrona Manor. John Alexander Paxton finished construction on the mansion in 1880 and unfortunately died fairly soon after in 1888. His wife Hannah kept his body in a lead-lined glass coffin in the home until she herself passed away 14 years later. The property was inherited by his 2 sons, Blitz and Charles. Blitz is quite a character. I would highly suggest looking him up, Blitz Paxton. And it is rumored that Charles took his own life in the manor when his wife left him for another man. So it may explain some of the things we experienced while we were there. My fiance set up a beautiful proposal for us, and as soon as yes was said and the ring was on my finger, he popped the champagne and didn't really stop popping bottles of things until later that evening. So by the time I convinced him it was time to go back to the hotel, he was pretty far gone. But that's okay. He was celebrating. He was nervous. No big deal. We got back to the room. I went in the restroom, came back out. He was passed out face down on the bed. So, cool. Great. Thanks for a good night, buddy. Anyway, a little later on in the night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps coming up the stairs, up to our door, followed by the doorknob turning, as though somebody was trying to get into our room. And because Healdsburg is in the Santa Rosa County wine country, I thought, okay, well, maybe another guest had a little too much fun wine tasting and got the wrong room. No big deal. Went back to sleep. And a little while later, it happened again. Heard the footsteps go up to the door and the doorknob twisting like somebody's trying to get in. Okay, maybe it's the same person. Maybe it's the same group. They just got the room numbers mixed up. Whatever. Again, for the 3rd time in the night, it happened. And I got up and checked the peephole and nobody was there. So, okay, that sucks. Losing some sleep, but whatever. Went back to bed. When we got up the next morning, I asked Colin, my fiance, if he had heard anything the night before. And he said, yeah, like drunk people were trying to get into our room. And I said, okay, so I'm not the only one. I heard it. It was happening. That sucks. Oh, well. New day. We went out and enjoyed our day, our first day of being engaged. That night, we went to bed, and again, footsteps coming up the stairs to our room, and somebody trying to get into the bed, into the room. So now this is ridiculous. So again, he gets up, he opens the door, and there's no one there. Now we're a little freaked out. How is this happening over and over? There's never anybody there. One night, maybe 2 nights in a row. I don't think so. So we got back into bed. And a little while later, it happened again. Now we're wide awake and there's an energy that is filling the room. We cannot sleep. It's like electric charge in the room. We cannot go to sleep. We stayed up. We watched some Friends on the iPad, put the fireplace on until we were sleepy enough, went back to bed, and got up the next day to leave the hotel. And when the front desk staff asked us how we enjoyed our stay, we said it was lovely, but, we didn't get a lot of sleep. Well, they knew about our proposal they had helped set up. So they're like, yeah, I bet you didn't. And we said, no, we didn't sleep because our room was haunted. And they absolutely loved it. What? Oh my gosh, you have to tell us everything. Write it all down. And our theory really is that Charles was looking for his wife, maybe trying to catch her with the other man she ran away with, and was trying to get in to find out if there was any funny business going on. So I don't know. I can't even confirm that that's how he passed or anything like that. I've tried to research as much as possible, but I would definitely look up Madrona Manor, look up the history, look up the hotel itself. It's absolutely gorgeous. You must stay there, please. Enjoy the wine in the Sonoma County, Santa Rosa County. Same thing, I think. They're right next to each other. And grab a bite at the Michelin star restaurant on site. So anyway, that's our spooky little haunted proposal, and we hope everyone is well, and we are wishing you all a very happy upcoming spooky season. Thanks, friends. Bye.
It looks like the Haunted Mansion.
It's so picturesque.
We're looking at the Madrona Mansion right now, and it does.
I mean, it's beautiful. Jesus
gorgeous.
Christ. But
you guys,
this is it looks like a theme park ride of a haunted house.
You could Google it as Madrona Manor. Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
I would love to stay the night there.
I made the mistake whilst we were listening of Google imaging what a lead-lined glass coffin looks like. Mistake. I made a terrible mistake. So you're just watching someone decompose in your home. That's the lesson we're on.
It increases the value of your home if you leave a coffin like that.
Could never be me. Also, why do we love lead so much? But
no, you showed me a pretty gnarly picture of what a corpse looks like.
There's a corpse in a Snow White-esque coffin.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. So you're just like having breakfast and like papa's there decomposing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I went through when I went to Liberty, Missouri for my little Strange Escapes trip, which, by the way, if you guys have been following our social media, I did capture a shadow following me.
Yes. Oh my God, I know.
But inside of the winery, because it used to be an Oddfellows home, they have an Oddfellows there in skeleton form. What? George. They have George.
What?
And
his actual
bones. He was an actual Oddfellows. There's documentation of him above his remains.
Did he? How can I delicately put this? Did he donate his body to, he decided that's what he wanted?
Yes, it's to, what is the representation of that? Someone said it's immortality, a representation of immortality. And on the property of the winery, they have an Oddfellows cemetery. They have a cemetery
But he just decided he wanted his on display.
Yes, on display.
Okay.
It's a reminder.
So that's a little different because I guess if he decided, I don't know if we talked about this, but I was just at the British History Museum whilst I was in London. And there is something particular. Look, it's a lot of stolen history that London is, in fairness, some of which they have started to return, some of which they have permission to have on display from their countries that they robbed, and some of which they refuse to return. So baby steps, but they're not out of the woods. I'm not trying to amend the British history or Britain's history.
It's a lot of history.
The irony is that there's actually very little about Britain in the British History Museum, but okay, sure, carry on. Seeing the actual mummified bodies of Egyptian rulers that were plundered from a tomb was very jarring.
I bet.
I was like, oh, I don't like this. Especially when ancient Egyptians and many religions in the world still value where and how and what your body is done for the burial ceremony.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, you not only did you take these people's bodies, you took them from a worldview and a religion and a belief that, like, it was very important how and where they were buried. You need to put them back, or at the very least, give them back to the country of Egypt. But they're, like, kind of not doing that. And not to be, like, on some crazy tangent, but it is very jarring to see, like, a person's remains.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Cleopatra's remains are there. There she is. Like, the Cleopatra.
She's there.
What am I looking at right
Hey,
now?
girl. Yeah, I know.
So at least this guy donated his?
Yeah, his roommate.
I feel like I would donate my body to science, but I don't want it on display.
It's an old, odd order of that fraternity of Oddfellows. It's really interesting because this hasn't been the first skeleton that, they have laid out like that. There have been other locations where, I mean, these former structures used to be Oddfellows, and they would find skeletons in closets, like literal closets and stuff, trunks and everything. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. But this house and that experience, I think, Layla, like what you felt too, you felt that Charles was, trying to come in and see if there was some fooling around going on.
So crazy. Also, you gotta love the hotel staff being like, yeah. Like, okay, grow up. Yes, we did that as well. How dare you?
Yeah, but the Madrona
beautiful. Wow.
Manor, it is gorgeous. And I'm looking at the history over here. But yeah, it's considered to be one of the main haunted or local haunts in Santa Rosa. And it is haunted by a ghost of an older lady dressed in black, possibly the owner, a ghost of a young girl whose origins are unknown, to list a few. Wow. So, yeah, definitely, a place to go visit and venture out to and drink some wine.
I'll drink the wine.
Yeah, you'll drink several cases, not even a bottle.
I love when you go on like a wine tasting and they give you that little like punch card. I'm like, I'm gonna need some more punch cards. Keep them flowing.
Yes, indeed. Goodness. Yeah, thank you so much, Layla. That was such a crazy story.
Insane.
Yeah, and that she wasn't by herself.
Right. That he also thought it was like someone. Right. Of course, it'd be someone drunk.
Logical. Yeah. Like, hey, is this my room? Makes sense.
One
Winery?
night, maybe.
Yeah.
Multiple nights in a row. And then when the person's not there, right? Because the second night, I'd be ready to windmill punch someone, just with arms swinging, walking forward.
There's a reason when I traveled with this taser.
God, yes.
Yeah,
it was so cute.
Like, does it work? Oh, here we go. There you go. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That slept next to me. I know.
Hey.
More like a turn on than protection. Yeah.
Truly, though.
But remember when we were being interviewed by Bridget Marcourt and how she had the same experience at the Myrtles Plantation.
Yes.
And like Layla's story, she felt that energy in the room. That's what happened to Bridget. Was she's like, I don't know, man. There was something that was trying to get into the room, and then you just felt it now in the room by this certain hour. You just felt the shift of energy change. Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's making you know that it's there. Again, whatever's there.
Can I just sleep? Like, can I just get a good night's sleep? Like, I'm tired.
Right.
Why is a ghost never bringing me breakfast? You know what I mean?
Right. Or a glass of wine.
Well, okay, fair. If they did bring me a glass of wine, then we can talk about feet stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The negotiating table is open. It's fine.
People taking notes, like for Bryce, I'm taking notes like needs wine.
I know, what a mess.
Has to be a manor next to a winery.
I know, truly.
Bottle of melatonin that he could grind up.
Underline.
Yeah, it's not even a circle of salt. It's a circle of melatonin from Bryce.
I just want to sleep. I don't even care. The demon can possess my body as long as we're both sleeping. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Demon cuddles with you. You're look, just as long as
I am single, so like it's fine.
And you're ready to mingle and ready to fall asleep.
Although I'm a bit of a hot sleeper, so I don't know that a demon.
I'm the same way too. Like when Charlie and I finally bought this new king size bed, like we have our own sections. We don't even touch each other.
That is the dream.
Isn't it great?
There's you know how there's like different sizes of beds, right? So there's like twin, full, queen, blah, blah. There is a size of bed, and I forget if it's either which one's the actual biggest, but there's California king.
Yeah.
There's Alaskan king.
Wait.
There's Wyoming king. And Wyoming king, I think, is the largest, which geographically does not make sense. Just go with it. I did not invent bed sizing, but a Wyoming king is like a full room sized bed.
Oh my God.
It is like as long and wide. Like you could literally have two people sleeping like head to toe, and then another person like head to toe, and they would not touch. And that's like the length, and it's that wide too. It's my dream. It is my dream.
Wyoming king. I have to look this up.
It's insane. I follow this guy on all socials, and he got one, and I literally was so jealous. Although I feel like it probably is pretty daunting when you're like there alone. But he has like people. Excuse me. He has a projector, and he has like people over, and they like watch movies in bed. It's very cute. The chaos.
Oh, that's huge.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
That is. Oh my God. I'm looking at a family of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7.5.
Yep.
That is like 2 full-size beds put together.
Right? It is the dream.
That is the dream.
So there's like enough room for you and a ghost and your boyfriend. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
And your husband. It's great.
Okay, so the Alaskan is actually bigger than the Wyoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good. We're sticking with geography. Good. Good.
All right, guys. So we left the best for last.
Yes.
We have a story.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah. We have a story from my friend. So background story, we were sitting having coffee. She's telling me about her work. She works in film. She has worked on many, many big notable projects. And it turns out that she was working a couple of nights on set at the Barclay Hotel.
The smallest world.
And she was like, "Oh, you'll get a kick out of this, Tammy." While we were like midway through my pumpkin spice latte.
Obsessed.
I almost spit it out when she was like, "Oh, I have to tell you this because I know you're going to be into this, but we shot at the Barclay. Do you know about it?" And I was like, hold on.
I know about it.
Hold
We
up.
invented the Barclay.
No, we built it from the ground up.
Clearly.
I was like, wait. Barclay in downtown. She's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, me and the crew experienced some weird things, and I'm ready to tell you. I'm like, hold on, grab my phone.
Yeah.
So FYI, we were sitting outside, and I just immediately started pressing record. So you might hear a little bit of environmental pollution.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, it's still Los Angeles.
It is always fucking noisy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we have had peace and quiet here.
I know.
So this is my friend's story. She wishes to remain anonymous because she's still working in the industry. But this is her story of the Barclay Hotel. So enjoy it, guys. This was the biggest treat to open up our spooky season on Listener's Tales. All right, so here's the Haunted Barclay. What's happening in the Barclay?
So you get a great introduction when you walk into the lobby. Already the atmosphere is fairly dense. And there's like an ancient elevator. And so we shot at night, obviously. It was night shoots. And so the very first thing was the elevator. It appeared to be functioning normal, but once it came down, then it just started changing all the numbers. And it would open, close. And we had just seen the camera crew go up, me and my coworker. So we were like, okay, we'll take it, because I saw that. I'm like, I'm not going up that elevator. Nope, not doing it. That happens. And my coworker's like, who's a non-believer. It's just, it's an old elevator, it's malfunctioning, whatever. Rides on the elevator by himself, because I refused. I go up all these like freaking stairs that, just as I forget how many floors that hotel is, but each level you go up, it's like worse and worse, and like feeling condensed, and you feel like entrapped.
Yeah.
And so we get up there, I get up there, and he obviously got there before me, but he was like, yeah, I'm not riding that elevator anymore. I'm like, well, what happened? And then the elevator was like a light bulb. That was a light. So that's how old it is, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I got on there, the light bulb suddenly goes off on, I'm stuck. Because I think it was just the second floor. And he's like, I'm not riding on that anymore. Then none of the camera crew wanted to go on that anymore, even though they had to because of all the equipment.
Right.
F that. They went down all those stairs.
For the camera crew to opt carrying that equipment up the stairs, that means that now the elevator has, I guess, an energy to it, because the history that there have been a couple of deaths, especially in regards to that gilded cage elevator.
Oh my God. See, I went in, I didn't know anything about the history, but you could just tell, like, again, just going into the lobby, it just doesn't, you feel like you're almost like transported into different eras. And it's so, like, just going in and out, you could tell the difference, because I couldn't, we were in that building for a really long time. I think like almost 10 to 12 hours. But I couldn't stay more than 15 minutes in increments. I had to leave and come back. So they stationed us and the cast in like certain apartment rooms. And the way those apartments were laid out and the sinks and stuff made no sense. So we had to bring in our own light, and that light flickered like nothing. Like it was like, it's not like a flickering of like, it's gonna expire.
Right.
Because it was a brand new light. And we tried different plugs, and I was like, I can't do. Again, like I would just leave and all the way outside and come back up because it was just so dense. And in those rooms were really weird. There was like weird carvings and weird stuff. And then one of the girls in the makeup department, the whole makeup department started to get really curious and look into the history of the Barclay. And it was like horror stories, like horrible things that happened. And then they wanted to go and adventure up. I refused. And they went to like 2 different levels, open doors. Of course, we're not supposed to do this stuff, but, while we were there, they wanted to entertain themselves. They all came back down and their faces were different. And I was too scared to ask, like, what did you experience? Like, it's just like this, I don't know how to explain it. Some of the rooms, like, you just can't even breathe in there. I mean, obviously it's filthy and stuff. I mean, some people do still live there, but they were just like, they described these feelings of like fear and anxiety and like really bad things. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't obviously venture up there. And then we had an incident the second night where a homeless person went up, and someone was on our hot set, which nobody was there, but we had security guards. But some homeless person went up there, stabbed somebody. We don't know who they stabbed, because I was like, well, now I really don't want to go in there. So that was interesting. And then it was our set, and it's just, so I don't know the details of that, but I just found it to be really odd. Mm-hmm. But in general, that was the consensus. And then as we literally hit close to the midnight mark, and we stayed a little bit past the midnight, but as we hit close to the midnight part, still the people that were questioning, does this really exist? Is this just because it's an old building and, the air circulation isn't so great and stuff? Even though security guards, you could tell in their faces that they've seen shit, heard things, but they didn't want to, add on to making us feel uncomfortable. We had, our production paid for certain security guards, and then they also had, the hotel had a couple, but they didn't, they had certain faces too they had certain looks in their faces that,
like, they knew.
Yeah, and that they didn't want to say, because there was we would hear a lot from certain crew members of like, did you guys hear that? Did you see that? And I was too chicken. I admit that I was too chicken to ask. But what really sealed the deal was as we hit the midnight mark, because I remember we all looked at our phones. We had 2 cameras, and one of them just completely died. They tried to reboot it, nothing. And it was like, the camera was functioning fine.
Yeah. Before
midnight, all day, the day before. And they could not get this camera to go up. So camera was like, all right, we're done for the night. We're good. And that was it.
When you said some people had heard and seen some things, what did they see?
I think it was shadows. A lot of shadows.
Yep. That is a common occurrence. Do you know what specific floors?
Well, they saw it in our floor. It's just, I want to say it's the second or the first when you go. And we were all in a hallway, which, hallways are prime hallways, doors. Uh-huh. And then there was like a window at the end of the hallway. And somebody could have sworn, a crew member, I should say, not somebody, but a crew member, could have sworn they saw something in a window. Mm-hmm. And they're like, dude, did you see that person over there? Did you see that by the window? And they're like, they went by the window, like, how could there be a person? There's not even, like, those, I forgot what those things are called, like the emergency. There wasn't even that.
Oh, an emergency exit.
Yeah.
Or a fire exit.
Exactly. They're like, no, there's nobody there. And so that's when shit started, like, everybody started getting uneasy, let's say.
So you had this camera go out, and this is a reliable camera. This is something that, has been working and functioning for the past 2 days, and it just stopped. Was it a very intense scene that you guys were shooting? No?
No, not at all. It was not, It was not horror related at all. It was like a party scene.
Now, well, it could have, like, if it's a party and people are, you know, acting like
in a time period.
In a time period,
yeah,
they're having fun. All emotions are circulating in the scene. It could have conjured up something. Mm-hmm. Now, you said that someone came on set, or that someone had another experience. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Like, well, in general, the crew was starting to feel things or see things, and then they were just when others asked, they were just like, it doesn't look like a ghost. It was like a shadow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that, and then someone seeing another crew member in the window seeing, I guess, like a girl. Maybe it was a girl. And it wasn't none of us, because there was few of us up there, because I don't think actually a lot of us could be up there. Mm-hmm. But with the elevator, when the camera team went up initially, they thought maybe the light bulb was old. Mm-hmm. And I remember that they asked Electric to replace the bulb, you know?
Right.
And Electric replaced it, and they're like, everything seemed fine, nothing with the actual wiring, because they know the shit. Nothing, everything seems fine. So, but they put a new bulb in there, and it will still go off and on. And then nobody rode the elevator. It took one time that everyone went on it, and from that point on, everyone hustled up and down those stairs.
And I remember asking you too earlier, like, you know, sometimes people don't like to go in elevators. They have that fear. Like, you're about to relive a clip from the movie of Final Destination in an elevator.
Yeah.
But you said something that, you know, based on what the crew felt in that elevator, and these are grown men, that it just felt weird. Mm-hmm. They didn't like to go up from one floor to the next in this elevator with this heavy equipment, because they said that the energy felt off.
Yeah. So they built ramps. They literally got up there. The first team of camera got up there, and then they built ramps. So everyone went up those 3 flights.
And what's really funny is that no one knew or knows the history of that elevator, because there have been several deaths based off of that gilded cage elevator.
Oh my gosh, yeah, which I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about.
Yeah.
But I thought that the cherry on top was when the B cam went down, and actually I remember they were even saying it was a brand new camera.
And that is unheard of.
Like, they couldn't even turn it on.
And I've been on a couple of film sets where audio and video would just, like, go down.
Right.
It would, like, in these locations that have, you know, some haunted history, it's like everything would go well, everything would run smoothly until like, you're getting, you know, closer to the midnight oil, burning that midnight oil, staying late on set.
Right.
And boom, it just, out of nowhere, this happens.
Yeah.
Something so reliable just all of a sudden goes kaput.
Yeah.
That's what happened when I did an investigation at the McIntyre Villa. Went into the villa and places that had the highest activity. Guess what happened? My video and audio shut down. But when I would leave, it would pick up where it left off.
Yeah.
So that is something that you guys were definitely experiencing.
Yeah. It was wild. It was wild. I was counting the minutes, and I think that I really feel like that the Barclay Hotel kicked us out. They're like, you had to, you know, get the F out. And we all took the cue.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one spoke to the security guards. Like, they had the faces.
Some people tried, and they just, they wouldn't, you know, whatever.
That's exactly what I had with the assistant of the owner of the Barclay. Like, all he could tell me was, I had experiences I can't explain, and I wish to not explain them because I don't want to experience them or relive that ever again.
And literally, I forgot what was the story of literally where we were, where costumes and makeup and even cast was stationed in one of, and it was 2 apartments, but it kind of, what's it called when it kind of joins together, and one of the girls had looked up what happened specifically in that room, which I don't remember the number or anything at this point, unfortunately, but it was like bad. It was like a serial killer, and it was very detailed, like what he did to his victim.
So you were in one of the murder rooms of, it was Otto. I can't remember his full name at this moment, but it was a serial killer. He was the LA Ripper. He had brought home sex workers and brought them to his hotel room where he raped them and eventually killed them and dismembered them.
Yes.
And it just so happened that the room that wardrobe and makeup were based out of were the murder rooms.
Yeah.
And people felt very, wow.
Yeah. Dizzy, like sick to the stomach, and just uneasy. Even though they have really huge windows, and you know, there's a level of nice. You could tell it must have been a beautiful place originally with the architecture, but my God, that wasn't enough for me. And you can't open those windows, obviously, because, you know, but yeah, it was just, I couldn't stay in that room literally more than 5-minute increments. The hallway was better than that room.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just.
You're like, never again.
No, that was good. 2 days, that was good.
Surprise.
Look, I hate elevators.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Especially one that's that old.
Yeah, I just think plummeting to your death seems like a particularly horrifying way to go. And like scary, and I don't know. That just seems like a lot.
Yeah. So you have a group of people in film that are just there to do their job. They don't know much about the history of this building, and then they later find out.
And let's talk about the element of the film industry that is efficiency. Your job, it does not matter the position, from the highest producer to the most unpaid of extras. Your job in a perfect world is to get everything in one take. Is to deliver as quickly, as cost efficiently, and as like seamlessly as possible. If there is something that is holding you up or costing more time and money, it gets cut. That is the one constant in the entertainment industry. So for this entire crew to spend the time, energy, money, materials in building things and going up and down stairs instead of using the like easier way, that to me was like the most grounding part of that story. Like, oh, it's 100% true. Because if it was not true, if it was just people being like, oh no, I don't know, wishy-washy, if they had not felt that strongly, they would not have done that.
Exactly.
It happened. Like that to me was the most like truth. That was the most like astounding part.
Yeah, it sounded pretty genuine. Like they really didn't feel comfortable.
For the entire crew, and we've all been on those sets, you know, those like crewmen aren't like,
I mean, these are like grown ass men. They're there to do their job. They're in and out. They have work to do. They're not there to BS anything or anyone. And this hasn't been the first story. Like she's been in other locations too, but she was like telling me, I have to tell you this because this was so, and it was so interesting because I was trying to like find out like, oh, what should we come back with? Listener's Tales. And I'm like, oh, Listener's Tales, because when she introduced me to this story, I'm like, this would be the best treat. Yeah. But it's so crazy how like it wasn't just her, but also wardrobe, makeup, or like
and also not knowing the history, but still like being in the exact places. Girl.
Otto Stephen Wilson was the LA Ripper back in the day. And he was responsible for slaying these sex workers in that hotel. So when they found out, I mean, they were doing their due diligence while working in location. And I mean, just imagine feeling something off and then realizing, I'm really feeling. Yeah. My clairsentience is telling me something bad happened. When people talk about the Cecil Hotel, I'm like,
girl. Sex workers
ain't got nothing on the burger.
Truly. Oh my God, it's so scary.
It's really, really scary. I mean,
and for stabbing, like there's just an energy there that is so chaotic.
Well, yeah, I mean, the people that are staying there too, they're coming from pretty rough situations. Sure. Yeah. And I know for a fact, like another one of my friends who told me like that their relative used to be a security guard there too. And we shared their experiences on the Barclay episode. But there's like, you know, just because in the environment too, outside of the hotel, that kind of circulates inside as well.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's a very rough area around downtown Los Angeles. We went to go see a concert around there. I mean, it hasn't improved.
No.
It's a little scary. And so there you go. And then for the security guards too, to not even say anything, like what they have on their faces pretty much shows you. Yeah. Should say enough. But I found that pretty interesting that they walked in without a bias, without knowing a lot of the history, because not a lot of people do know about the history of the Barclay, because they're so fixated on other places.
Yeah, it's not as flashy.
Yeah, like the Cecil, you know. And I feel like the Cecil has something, but it's one of those things like, is it a place that you really think it's haunted, or is it a place that you really want it to be haunted?
Which, you know, can create an energy.
It can. And I know for a fact, like Zachariah has investigated, and he's even mentioned to me, no, there's something there because of what's happened.
Right.
It's absorbed in there and it's so powerful. Yeah, you could definitely feel it.
If enough people come wanting the same thing, that can manifest an energy.
Exactly.
100%.
Are, you know, once again, what are we truly dealing with? Is this something that our minds are definitely feeding into? Is this the thought form that we really want so bad to happen and create, and boom, it happens?
We feed into it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it does have a very violent history.
Right.
But here's the biggest thing. No one can ever tell me, has there been a full body apparition ever seen in the Cecil? No, but there has been several accounts of the Barclay. Right. There we go. We go based off of that. So yeah, the Barclay definitely, in my opinion, one of the most haunted places is neck and neck with the Alexandria.
And look, it takes a lot to get me to go
in
upstairs.
Biltmore,
but,
yes.
I'll do it. I'll suffer.
But that was such a great story.
Yes,
thank you so much.
You.
Thank you so much for sharing that, friend. Yes. So she has many more that I'm going to try to see if I can
nice to hear her voice. Like, oh, hi, I miss you.
Bye. We got haunted. Bye. Yeah. So guys, that is our Listener's Tales episode. We were so happy to be back, and we were so happy to be back behind these mics.
My heart rate is at 1,000. It's fine.
Please, guys. I wanted to make this note. Please, I found our goodies for our Patreon. So I had our box go missing during our move. So during our break, a lot has happened. I'm still settling in. We still, I think out of the 100 and something boxes we had, we still have 50 more to go. And we found it, and then it went missing again. Yeah. And now I found it. I was able to send out a couple more envelopes with the goodies. Guys, if you have not received your goodies, please email me at hollyweirdparanormal@gmail.com. Let me know that you haven't received it. That is my bad. I'm so sorry that I was not able to send them out.
There's like so many planets in retrograde right now. I just feel like we cannot be held responsible.
It has literally been a crazy past couple of months moving.
It was beautiful though.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
It's really like my husband really put in a lot of work into this. Thank you. We are recording out of our new studio.
Yes. Oh, look at us.
And then of course traveling, and of course I caught COVID for the second time.
Girl, no, I hate that.
Yeah, more traveling, and then started work, and now I'm designing costumes for a musical that it's opening up next week. So a lot of plates are spinning.
It's definitely musical, because I feel like that is the definition of like the less clothes that are being worn on stage, the more design you have to do. You can't just throw people on stage naked. Like you have to undergarments, and it has to be period appropriate. It's a lot of work,
and then dealing with people who are not comfortable, and I get it. It's an academic theater, so it's a lot of green performers. So trying to maneuver around that, and all at the same time trying to teach them this show takes place in a sex house in 1930s
like you
Germany.
Have to that's tough.
The brink of World War I.
Considering that we started our friendship with like me in just underwear. Like the third minute that I had met you.
In a haunted school.
Like, I'm really sorry, but like I need to actually see. Can you like move your hands? I was like, oh, we're gonna be like good friends, and here we are. It worked. Oh my god! Just tell them that.
But guys, from Patreon, if you haven't received your packages, please email me. Let me know. I do have one more package I'm going to send out. Thank you so much to Shelby, and and Lynette for your donations. Guys, if you want to donate, throw us a tip, even if it's for a month, 2 months, or 3 months.
It's so appreciated.
Head on over to Hollyweird Paranormal's Patreon page. That is www.patreon.com/HollyWeirdParanormal. And for just as little as $1 per month, you can support the podcast for however many months you want to. It's okay. We definitely love all the help. A little does go a long way.
It really
and
does,
we do gift you guys in pin stickers, magnets, and coasters, which is why I'm really stressing that you guys email me back, please. Also, you'll be inducted to our Saturday Night Ghost Club, which has a collection of actual audio recordings of people who are sharing their ghost stories.
Everyone's got one.
Yes, and I've been getting a lot more to update the Saturday Night Ghost Club page, guys. I have 3 more that I'm going to update. Amazing. So you'll have access to all that. If you cannot get enough of Hollyweird Paranormal, you can definitely listen to these crazy tales. Another thing too, if you are just new to the Hollyweird Paranormal group or club, please follow us on our social medias. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Hollyweird Paranormal, and on Twitter at HWP Podcast. And if you have a scary story that you're dying to share with us, no pun intended, you could type it out or record it and send it to hollyweirdparanormal@gmail.com.
Yes, we love them.
Of course, and we're also on TikTok. I share a lot of stories about haunted places in California, so you can definitely jump on that page and see what we have to definitely share with you guys, because there's a lot of haunted places in California.
So many. I love it.
And speaking about haunted places, we're going to be touching on a very unique haunted place in our next episode that is called the Glassell House, aka the Haunted Polaroid House.
Yes.
So, can ghosts be captured on Polaroid? Well, according to a little house in Los Angeles, in a little suburb called Glassell Park, it turns out that they are being caught on Polaroid.
Crazy.
And there's about 12,000 documented Polaroids to prove it.
That's
so
crazy.
Tune into our next episode if you want to hear about that story. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to be back.
Yes.
And always remember to stay Hollyweird. Take care of yourselves. Bryce, do you have anything you want to say?
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.